Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another episode of the Now Review. And for today's instalment we're taking a look at two albums whose genres I'm not that all familiar with, but you know what, they were quite pleasant surprises to me. And we're looking at Now That's What I Call Reggae, and Now That's What I Call Reggae Party. So, as usual, we'll start with the first one that comes chronologically, so we shall start with Now That's What I Call Reggae. So let's just take a look at this cover. Obviously you've got the signature colours of reggae, so red, yellow and green, like all the Rasta stuff, and you've got that trimmed on the individual letters there. I quite like that actually. Bit messy, you could argue. You got palm trees and beaches, apparently that's very reggae, and the spine, it's green with white text, so very nice and stand out there. This is from AMTV. This was released in 2012 when EMI still featured as a logo on here. Here's CD1. So you got Shaggy, UB40, things like that. So you should see a lot of these first few are mostly reggae in style. I mean, I'm not really familiar with the reggae genre, so people might be able to correct me. But there were definitely some of these I was like, is that really reggae? Some of these songs you can argue originated in pop, but then have been influenced with a reggae beat, if you like, such as Sweets for My Sweet by CJ Lewis. But then CD3, all that stuff. So some of it you can argue is more pop, but just with a reggae influenced beat, finishing with Nicky Thomas and Love of the Common People. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's have a look inside. Oh, you got a nice picture of the sea and a palm tree there. How lovely. Oh, I want to go somewhere like that this year, to be honest with you. Here's the first disc, which is red with a sort of yellow and green trim on the text. Are they different colours? Yes, they are. They're red, green and yellow. Nice that they've incorporated the reggae colours once again, as I said earlier. They could have had maybe some pattern on it, but I'm not going to complain too much. So, the track list. For someone like me who's not really familiar with reggae music, I did end up quite liking a lot of the tracks on here, and again I'm sure some like purist reggae fans may say, oh, a lot of this isn't actually reggae, or it's just pop with a reggaeton sounding beat or something like that. But you know what, even be as it may, a lot of these are really good songs, and songs I'd never heard of, and I always like that from a Now album. I obviously love getting ones that have tracks I know, but I equally like picking up ones like this that give me tracks I've never heard of before, and it sort of wakes me up to a brand new genre for me. So with this, I picked this up from Music Magpie. It was a little bit more than the usual £3. It was about 4 or 5. This did come out in 2012. I don't know what its availability is like. I haven't seen it at any HMV. Of course, this came out 9 years ago now, so you're probably going to have to go second hand for this one. And I mean, I'd even say, like me, if you're not that familiar with reggae, but you want to sort of dip your toes in, then this is a pretty cool album to start with. Not even joking, like you'll find songs on here that I'm sure you'll like regardless. And obviously, if you're a reggae fan, then pick this up because it's reggae and it's apparently what you love. So that's that one. Let's have a look at the follow-up, which is Now That's What I Call Reggae Party.
Now Reggae Party, with the songs to get your party moving.
So this album came out 4 years after the original in 2016, and they've pretty much used most of the assets. You know, you've got the trees, the sea, the beach. And the difference is you've got a lot of speakers in the background because, you know, it's a party. You've still got the red, green and yellow colours everywhere. Got this sort of wood grain here. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. But anyway, the spine is very similar. It's that red, not red, what am I saying? It's green with a white thing there. And a bit of wood panelling on the side. That's a little nice touch. And again, this track list. Now, some of these, like the very first song is the same as on the first reggae album, as in Shaggy It Wasn't Me, and then the next one is the same as well. It does have some newer songs in there. It's got Cheerleader by Omi, which drove me crazy when that first came out. But of course this is a party album, so does it have enough variety to call itself that, like sort of like the 80s album and 80s dance? Well, there is a lot of songs on here that, again, I challenge more, are they reggae? Like It Must Be Love by Madness. Is that really classed as reggae? I don't know. A CD3 for you. So there is a lot of crossover, obviously, with reggae songs. 2016 was the release date. I will talk more about the track list in a moment. Let's have a look inside. Now 94 is out on the 22nd of July, everybody. I hope you all picked that up. I certainly did on launch day back in 2016. And I think, interestingly enough, fun fact, Now 94 is one of, I think, 2 Now albums that did not feature any number ones. I think this was the time when Drake's One Dance was everywhere and it wasn't on here, so there's your little fun fact. There's CD1, yellow with green trim, and yay, they're different colours. Same colours, yellow, red, green. Again, they're nice. It's nice they've embodied this Jamaican, or I shouldn't say Jamaican, but this reggae genre of music and all like its cultural symbols, but I kind of wish there was some sort of pattern on there for this sort of thing. So the track list, what do I think about Reggae Party's track list? Well, as I said, there is a bit of crossover. Like, if you already own reggae, then there are quite a few songs that cross over onto this album as well. And again, because this is a party album, I think sometimes they've picked songs that, to me at least, to my knowledge, aren't instinctively reggae, but they've just got sort of a reggae sound and they've whacked them on there, like Tide is High by Blondie. I've never really known that to be sort of reggae. Madness I already mentioned, for example, and can't find another example at the minute, but there's just songs here you sort of think, is that reggae? But again, I'm really not the right person to comment on that because reggae isn't a genre of music I'm overly familiar with. But anyhow, if you want to get this new, you still can in places like HMV. I'd do it soon though, as it'll probably stop being sold there this year. You can get it in their 2 for $15 range, so that'd be £9 on its own. Or you can get it probably from second-hand places as well. I'm not sure how much this goes for in second-hand places. I'm not sure whether it's really cheap or a bit more expensive, so you might have to do your research on that one. But again, is this album for you? Well, bringing in the first one now. With these reggae albums, I would recommend the original reggae first. If you're like me and you didn't know much about reggae, then this first one is a good place to start. There was a lot less songs on here that I thought, that isn't really reggae compared to Reggae Party, whereas I think with that one, they've sort of infused the pop charts with anything that sounds vaguely reggae. It's not a bad album, don't get me wrong. If you got either one of these, they're not bad albums in concept, but I just think the original is far superior to Reggae Party. Obviously, if you're a collector, you're going to get them both, and if you know you don't like reggae music, if you've listened to it and you know it's not for you, then obviously maybe stay away from these. But yeah, if you're not that familiar with reggae, I'd still recommend giving these a go. And that is all for this instalment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, leave your comments down below, share the video around, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and until the next one, I will see you guys next time.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Brittany Fan 1999, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, and Francine Salazar, our AMTV staff members.